Today we have with us the most beautiful, joyful, and wise Trudy Stoner. Trudy is a visionary love coach and the founder of Uncaged Woman, a transformative coaching program and community designed to empower women in their journey towards self love, self acceptance, and personal growth.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor. I'm so happy to be here.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. I'm sure the viewers are going to love everything you're going to share with them. Are you ready to start?
I am ready.
So, when it comes to love, you say we are doing it wrong. Do you mind explaining a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So it's funny because I shock people with that, right? Which is probably why I say it so much. But I believe that when it comes to love, we are doing it wrong. And I believe that social statistics and data will support that theory. And
Mm,
it's not our fault because we're all just taught what our parents, it's we learn about love through how? Like personal experience, with
right?
through watching. What do we watch? What are we told? What do we hear about love? And so much of our childhood, when we are in the formative years, that's when we're born, right? Babies don't need therapy. We are born bundles of love. We're just born little bundles of love.
Yes.
And we're not afraid to we don't people please. We're not afraid to express our needs and our desires and our joy, and we just go for things. We just try again until we get it. And then at some point something shifts. And we go from that to, what is this thing called love? What is this? I need this, and it comes from out there. It's something that I
Mm.
have to now be good enough for. I
Right.
have to do something to get it. I have to be able to receive it. And we lose our ability to trust that it is something that we are, and that we are innately really like dialed to love. We are love. We come from love. We return to love, and we lose that. And so now everything about love becomes external. And we take that into adulthood, and we end up with the people pleasing, the need for like approval and acceptance to win love. When someone pulls back their love from us, it feels like a death blow. We feel gutted, we feel empty, we feel a void. Anybody that's gone through a loss, a tremendous loss, or a heartbreak, a breakup, a divorce, you feel gutted for a while. You feel like a piece of you has been taken.
Yeah.
And it's because the root of love in your life is coming externally instead of internally. I'm not saying that we can't enjoy incredible relationships in love with other people and receiving love. I'm just saying that when it starts with us, when we
Right.
understand what love really is and we learn how to do love from a place of being love instead of getting love,
Right.
or doing love, we are now being love. It changes absolutely everything.
Oh my God, Trudy. My head was going bling, bling, bling. Beautiful, beautiful, very clear way to explain it and very unique. I love it. I loved everything you said. And it the way you said it, it makes it so clear. I mean, what came up for me is that we learn in our first few years that love is transactional.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
need to do something in order to get it, but rather than being love, that's who we are. It makes a humongous difference.
It absolutely does. And then we learn that love can be also used as, like you said, it's transactional. And so
Right.
what does that do to our value, our self-esteem, our confidence, our self-worth, when someone can very easily turn it on or off like a faucet?
Oh my God. That's that touches me so deeply because that's my family. That's the way I grew up. And I had to do so much work. I even married a guy that was doing that to me.
Yeah,
I
we do.
felt
That's this.
yes,
Yes, we do.
Exactly. So this is such an important work to do to shift
Yeah.
from doing to being and understanding that we are love and that there is nothing we can do to deserve love more than we already are deserving love. Thank you, Trudy. That was amazing.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I have another question for you. You talk about self-love being foundational. You should mention all that. Why is this so important and how can we actually fall in love with ourselves? Because everybody says, yes, self love and fall in love. But what I see on social media, at least, is, oh, self care, self love. And it's, although it's good, but it's about getting facials or, getting the nails done or buying yourself a new dress. And is it about that?
No, and you just hit the nail on the head. I mean, you just absolutely just narrowed in and got it. Self-care is important. Of course, it is part of self-love, right? When we love someone, think about when we fall in love with
Yeah.
another. We're starting to fall in love. And what do? Like you connect. And our 100% focus is on and I mean, once we've crossed that line, right? Because some people are going to be like, that's not me on a first date. I'm looking for like, are they match? Are they right? Are they wrong? What did they, it's when we get to the next step, when all of those like wonderful hormones are triggering and firing, and we've got the chemical cocktail going on in our brain, and then we start to fall in love. We are looking for everything right. We are digging for gold. We're like, oh my God, look at their smile. I love his voice. I love her, the way that she giggles. I love this. I love this. We are focused on it. How often do we do that with ourselves?
Oh, I don't know. The
We look
viewers,
in the
you should
mirror
tell us. I don't
and
do it that
we
often.
become mean girls. We look in the mirror and it's like, oh my gosh, this is wrong or this is wrong. And we speak to ourselves internally. I call it the mean girl, right? Our little mean girl with
Love it.
our shoulder. And she steps in and she's like, you can't wear that. Are you kidding me right now? No, that doesn't work for you. Or we see the little laugh lines and we're like, oh my gosh, I need Botox. I got to fix this. We're so mean. We talk to ourselves the way, can you imagine talking to your sister, your best friend, anyone that you really care about, the way that we speak to ourselves? So
Yes.
to me, number one is like start loving yourself by treating yourself with the same respect and kindness that you would treat someone else. Stop being mean to yourself. Stop saying the cruel things to yourself. And with my clients, we will like look in the mirror and do mirror work and
Mhm.
say beautiful, nice things. And I believe that the difference is that when we start to do that and we start to see, just like we would when we fall in love with someone, the qualities about ourselves that are very lovable. And we all have them. We all have them. Every person on the planet has them, I promise you. We start to fall in love with ourselves. We start to cultivate a relationship with ourselves. We start to praise ourselves. We start to acknowledge ourselves for things that we're doing right instead of berating ourselves for things we're doing wrong. And
Right.
it starts to shift, but it's like turning around a really big boat. It takes time and it takes consistently. You've got to stay the course. But when you do that, something fundamental happens. You show up differently. Now, when we talk about breaking toxic cycles, breaking those things that are holding us back from love, we
Right.
are much more prepared to find and attract a good, healthy partner for us rather than the partner that is attracted to the wound. So it's like we heal the wound, we fall in love with ourselves, and we attract an entirely different partner than we would have prior to this work.
Right. Oh, that's beautiful. Do you mind if I ask you a question that is
Of
coming
course.
to my heart?
Yeah.
So let's imagine this lady that she did the work. Let's say she hired you. She did the work. She's in a good place. She learned how to love herself and all that beautiful thing. And she feels really good about herself. And she meets a man and she starts dating this man. And then all of the sudden she starts losing herself. That's something that I have seen over and over in my practice is these powerhouse ladies that were like tigresses roaming in the wild before getting married, and then they get married and they lose themselves, and they really they don't know who they are anymore. And then of course something like that usually ends up in divorce, and then they are divorced and they don't know. So
Yeah.
do you have a way that they can avoid doing that? They losing themselves in the process?
Well, finding yourself first is the foundation, right?
Right.
So you're right. It's like it's a fine, delicate line that you see these women and like you described them, they're confident, they're self-assured, they're successful, these powerhouse women. And you can't believe it when you see that they lose themselves so completely in love. They meet a guy and it's like they lose their minds.
Right.
And what we're seeing is an external persona. We're
Uh,
seeing, like you look at Facebook or Instagram, it's like, what do they want the world to see? We're not seeing the little girl. We're not seeing the internal. We're not seeing the stories, the beliefs, like we talked about, the understanding of love. We're seeing a woman with a girl inside that is either has a very attached, like the anxiety, like anxious attachment,
mhm.
or it may not even be that extreme. It's just that she has a belief internally that says love comes from outside of me.
Okay.
And to be okay, to be whole. And now you could sit down to coffee with her and she will tell you emphatically, I don't need a man and I don't need love. I'm good. I love myself. I love my life. I'm self
Right.
assured. I'm completely fine. I don't need any of it. And then she's the first one to be like head over heels and completely lose herself. And she'll have a million excuses for it
Yeah.
to justify it. But you're 100% right. What'll happen, because with men, they are like a tide in and out emotionally, right? And women do it too, but men tend to like really. I had a friend who was a male coach yesterday. We had this conversation. He said men will come forward, like they need that, they have that hit of oxytocin and bonding, and they'll come forward and they like pursue you, they come forward. And then once they release that they get that like hit of the oxytocin, they withdraw. They might go into their man cave, they might go into their shop, they might go out with the guys, they might go hiking, they might go fishing, they need their space. And he goes, but
Right.
here's the thing about men, think about it, if there's a rubber band between you, so when they pull back, there's tension if you let them, right?
Right.
Now, we release the tension when we come for them. I think there's another coach that's talked about this as I'm saying it out loud, and forgive me for not knowing who to
A
give credit to.
great analogy. Keep going, please.
So we chase them and we release the tension. When we
Mm,
let them have their space and we let them pull back, they
yeah.
will, it creates tension, they will come back to us, right?
Right.
So when a woman learns this and she can stay steady and she learns that she's not like dependent on the guy for the love, she's already now fostered and facilitated this love growth inside of herself. She really, truly does love herself.
Right.
She will recognize that there's no external circumstance, none, that can alter that. She's
Right.
anchored in love. Her
Right.
life is good. She's joyful. She's created exactly what she wants to create in this lifetime. And men will come and go. The right one will come and stay. But you have to make sure that you're the one before you attract the one.
Oh my God, that is so beautiful, Trudy.
Thank
Loved it.
you.
Loved it. Thank you. And I love the analogy of the rubber band. I think it puts things in perspective really easy. So thank you so much. Thank you for answering my question,
Of course.
being patient with me. And now I'm going to ask you the last question for today.
Sure.
How does understanding love help us to find forever love?
Well, I think we kind of have covered it, but we'll just just
Wrap it up.
never repetition, right? It never hurts to hear it twice. So when we really do understand that love is something that's internal, that we are love and we be love, we think about the law of attraction, think about energetics, think about what you put out into the world. When you walk into a store, and women are so famous for this and men not as much, but women, like, we exude an energy. And how many times has a woman stopped you in a store and said something to you like, "Oh my God, I love your outfit," or "I love your shoes," or "Your hair's so pretty," or, and other days when you might go to the store and nobody looks you in the eye. You don't do anything. Check your mood. Like, do a body scan. Check
Right.
in with yourself, because, everybody's heard of RBF, resting
Oh, yes.
face.
Yes.
When we are concentrating or we're thinking and we're so caught up in our thoughts, and we look like we could just take them out. And nobody wants to approach that. Other times when, and I'm going to circle back to like those endorphins and those feelings that we have when we fall in love. And this is why the self-love is so critically important. I can remember when I was in a relationship several years ago, and it was new and it was just like 6 months old, and I was still walking on air. And I went into a Starbucks, and I had a man that was probably a good 15 years younger than me walk up to me and just go, "You look absolutely stunning." And I was like, "It's morning. I'm in for my coffee. I got on, like, I'm ready to drive from
Well, you are a cutie,
Sacramento.
cutie.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you." But you know what I'm talking about, that
Yes, yes,
glow, the love glow.
yes,
So when we really embody that self-love, we give off the love glow all the time. We
yes.
are conscious of it. We're mindful of it. We live in a state of joy. We live in an elevated state, like vibrationally, like energy is real. This isn't just woo-woo
And
stuff.
Trudy, I have another question. I hope
Yeah.
what about, I have heard a lot of women over time telling me that they are afraid to actually go to the supermarket or the coffee shop and be, in their feminine energy and glow in love, like you said. I love it. And, be present and making eye contact and smiling and just looking good, smelling good, because they're afraid that, I don't know, that like a man will come and try to take advantage of them, or that they will be approached in a rude way, those kind of things. Do you have any advice in that regard to put these women at ease and to understand that they can do it, and that nothing is gonna, okay, you probably, could you please give the advice?
Well, I think that, fear is part of the equation when we really
Have you
live in.
run into that?
I haven't run into that very
No?
much,
Okay.
honestly. And perhaps it's because we start foundationally with that piece about like self-love and
Okay.
confidence and conquering fear. It's like when we live in a state that's more aligned,
Um,
we have two choices always, love or fear.
mhm.
And so when I do this work with my clients, it's the very foundation is like, how do we discern between the both? Is it intuition or is it fear? Like really going deep. And then whenever there is fear, whenever there's a path to fear, we follow it all the way back to the story of origin. Like, where did this belief comes from? There's something in that woman's story that says, "I'm vulnerable. I feel like prey. I feel like I'm going to be assaulted or
Right.
taken advantage of or hit on, and it's very uncomfortable for me, and I don't want to go there. So I'm going to put a wall up. I'm going to put my armor up, and nobody better talk to me." And that, you can imagine, it's hard to turn that on and off. They're going to be like that on first dates. They can fake it, but if that armor's up, that armor's up. There's a fear there. So it's like, what's the belief that's triggering the fear? Let's conquer that, and then the wall will come down.
Love it. Love it. Love it. That is very, very useful. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much. I know you have a gift for our viewers. Would you mind to share it with them?
Sure, sure. So I created a clarity and manifestation journal, and this is about self-love. It's about finding your forever love. Like, it's only 8 pages long, which sounds like a lot, but it's not like full intense. I say that because so many times during these summits, right, we hear about a gift and we get excited and then we don't get around to it.
Hmm.
But I use this journal with all of my clients in the beginning because it helps bring clarity. And it also helps get them started with mirror work, get them started with affirmations to like
Oh, I
start
love
like kind of like fanning the flame of self-love.
that.
But it also helps them gain complete clarity about what are they looking for in a partner. When they're looking for love, they need clarity. And so there's an exercise in there, which is like must-haves, would be nice, and deal breakers.
Mm,
And so what my gift is that journal, but in addition to the journal, it's a call with me and it's a strategy call. And it's so that we can review what's in the journal because
right.
things are going to come up for them and they're going to be like, well, now what do I do with this and how do I move forward? And everybody's goals are different. So I wanted to make this a bundle for your people
Thank you
that they
so
can.
much. Oh my goodness, that is so generous of you. Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
will place the link on the email I'm going to be sending you. So you have it there for you. You just have to click and get it. Oh my goodness, that is wonderful that they can see you in person as well. Wow. Thank you. There is anything else you would like to say before we go our separate ways?
You know, I just want to commend every single person that's on here watching this because it does take a commitment to yourself. This is loving. This is the self-care part that we were talking about because personal growth and development and learning and education is never wasted ever. And so give yourself like a nice hefty pat on the back, a hug, like let mean girl go and like actually give yourself acknowledgement and credit for being here, taking the time for you to, because there's so much value when you do a summit like this, all the experts, so many people, so many varying opinions. It's a beautiful thing. And it's like if we can be little curious sponges, it's like life is going to get better and better. So commend yourself. I commend you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.